Okay. Welcome all. This is Wha'Nitah with HJR Seminars. Sorry, I was trying to get my cursor in the right spot. HJR Seminars LLC. And the topic today is the life of the Elementi, a harmonizing journey with Wha'Nitah. I seem to be kind of continuously getting the flow now of different things coming up. It's like I heard for a while there was this white wall and we were kind of stuck, just kind of going through the white wall. Things are starting to come out that before we had kind of shut out of because of stuff going on energetically, but it looks like things are really turning a positive corner. So it'll be interesting the month of August to see how things go. Okay, so with that I will start. So the life of the Elementi. So, Elementi, as opposed to elementals, or as we, also we call them elementals, aka Partiki, aka the forces of nature. Nature being, nature being is the basic or inherent features of something, especially when seen as a characteristic of it, whatever it is, whatever that form it's taking. And that I got out of the on the web, the Oxford Dictionary. The Elementi are complex Keylon coded, and Keylon, for those that aren't involved with Keylonic science, the smallest building blocks of creation, basically non-manifest conscious aware beings. Create grids, Keylon coded grids of light, sound, oneness, which makes the first manifestation of the light body construct that eventually, becomes the physical nature, and our bodies are part of that nature that we know. It's also, I kind of getting intuitively, it's the first manifest structure to birth out of the Kin-servitory, which is like deep within the core mind of Source itself, the core birthing place of life and of thought, which becomes life, right? What we know of life is thought, feeling, right? Light, sound, one. Most organic forms are huge, complex Keylon coded Ah-yah A'ya God Source, first eternal expressions in the truest form, most basic. And these beings design themselves bit by bit in the eternal now of being. And I just got, there was just this space someplace, I don't know, it's all, whatever, where these creations continually create and are working to, create themselves to where they can manifest fully out in other domains. They don't necessarily fit in our domain, but they may fit in another, or they even create a domain to fit into. It's kind of a very big rabbit hole. I haven't really gone down yet, just sort of, peering down the rabbit hole. Yes. And thus was an evolutionary decision, and then excuse me, Source, or the all that is, continuously choosing as these huge complex Keylon coded elementi to develop the, which I thought it was kind of fascinating, the I. Some of this I've been getting kind of inspired through my readings of the Theosophy, and Gigi Young, and just then sort of like triggers things within me. And I really feel like I was a student of the astrotheosophy in the past, and really did a lot with it. And so it's like coming back. So, but in my kind of own unique sort of Katie way, I guess. So there's this development of this I as it differentiates, right, from the rest of itself in becoming more denser states, the more it differentiates. This was an evolutionary decision based on many ideas, experiences, feelings, awarenesses, and curiosities. Many calculated what ifs of probabilities to densify within its being. The desire was so strong to expand into, right, into this physical manifest expression. Okay. Of just going just into the deeper eye of possibility within its own eternal mind, right, of the all that is, Ah-yah A'ya. And then kind of with that, and Yesha sort of talks about it, but it's kind of one of those sort of woo-woo, really woo-woos, is because it's like just to get yourself around the idea that God is not outside yourself, that God is within you, without, you are it. And the more that I'm going to talk, you'll sort of understand how really we are a little bit more organically it, the all that is, God Source, First Eternal, and how we're experiencing ourselves now as a very unique expansion into this I of consciousness, of this am, of this being. And kind of having this sort of feeling like when you go deep into the eternal realms of Source itself, that maybe there's more than one being. Kind of reminding me of Men in Black. Like, it was the end of one of those episodes, maybe the last one, with the locker and the little people, and then the characters, and then bigger, you know, and bigger and bigger. That we know, where am I outside of Source, because, well, we're within the mind of Source. So nowhere can we go. We're not it, right? Because we're in that mind. But what if that mind has other beings out there that it may have gotten lost from? And maybe it's now in the process of learning how to reconnect. It has been so focused on its creation of going with almost like a being, I don't want to say a comatose state, but it's almost like being so self-absorbed into the I. And a being like that couldn't just be one eye. It has to be many multiple eyes. Okay, weird rabbit hole. I mean, anyway, that was thoughts coming into my mind. Okay, so kind of looking at what pre-Atlantean, kind of Lemurian times, we knew of the human form, because I've talked about this before, and as well as Gigi Young and many others. If you read Theosophy work talks about, others talk about it, that the human form as the water womb light man, right? That's what I was kind of wording it a little differently, but they were referencing kind of being water man, or water man, human. So water womb, woman, light, man, because it was the woman birthed mankind, basically. It's really Mother Earth birthed mankind. And so at this point, we were these water beings, an Elementi jelly-like being whose souls floated in and out of its body, co-creating with other like-minded Elementi, like an orchestra of light, sound, one dancing together, a very strong, loving, cooperative relationship they had with each other. Okay, very flowing, wavy, vapory at times, liquidy, beings that would form different things within mind of its creation, but it was flowed within its creation was part of itself, flowing out as it expanded its conscious thought as soul through its environment, right? Then we hit, and I'm jumping, post-Atlantean times, the time of the ego individuation, solidity. The crashing of the suspension field bridge aired in the epoch of harnessing what became the lower elementals, no longer except in, I get there's still places where there's still that flow, that private instance that did have the floating soul Elementi dancing together co-creatively, but yeah, that's kind of almost like an altered time space reality really at this point, but it's still there. Still, you cannot have it and have it really. You got to have the organic around, because the inorganic can't sustain and maintain on its own, period. Okay, yeah, now was the evolution of artificial finite intelligence that became disconnected from its root of perpetual renewal of life. They had to learn how to sustain and maintain by using their intellectual wits alone in a very primitive environment. The time of the intellect in mechanization to harness power, will, soul, spirit, fire for personal means or gains was issued in. And we're really kind of I'm feeling, coming to the tail end of that. And it was very important for the evolution of who we are as the all that is, to develop that I, which seemed as it differentiates, became more solid and solid by its nature. And the zodiac is a very organic state as in the evolution of form, of creating the hue man. I think that again. The light body or light creaturehood. Okay. Sound, water. Okay. Creation. Which Lemurians really were masters of sound, of their water bodies. But the zodiac became, in this new epoch, the karmic wheel of life, really that it kind of is today. As yet, not many can get off the spinning wheel. The wheel was tied to the ancient moon, which I thought was interesting. Again, sort of going back, like I said last session, that I would, connecting in the way I was connecting in, would I get in any more information? So I'm getting little bits and pieces, and I'm hoping to hear others that have done the session and connected in. Trust yourself. Trust what you come through. Well, even if it doesn't make sense, trust it. Listen to it. See where it fits. Okay? We have so many missing pieces in who we are. We're because we differentiated so much and expanded out so much, we got to come back in with the breath to put it all together, and then eventually we'll expand our breath out again and expand all kinds of different possibilities of reality, right? When I talk about the moon, I'm talking about a very ancient moon, not really currently the moon that we have, although the moon that we have is connected to that ancient moon. But I'm also referencing, when I'm talking about the ancient moon, when I talk about karma, the etheric karmic life of Earth, okay? And remember, nothing is like rock bottom solid. It's just that appearance of it, or the reflection of the inner mind of creation. The flipping up in front of us, holographic projection. So we have our karmic, etheric life of Earth kind of held, etheric now, held in those ancient stones in the moon, the ancient moon. So the karmic life of the earth plane cycles of the spirit of the Elementi mental pain and sorrow body, again held in this space. The connection also interplays through certain earth cycles of the earth's etheric karmic blueprint to be held in the various etheric planetary structures in this time matrix, such as Mars, Venus, Mercury are examples. All the planets actually either represent our past or karmically what may be possibilities of future, because remember it's all simultaneous, all within our time matrix, quote unquote. So at some point we will all connect back with these different planets, but on an energetic spirit level, not necessarily physically going there, but energetically connecting with them and working through our karma that's connected to them. This ancient moon held within its core structure, again, the organic Elementi stone holographic records of Earth's origins. Yeah, I'm still getting a guess on that. The light body blueprint design guides us out of this Earth plane. I have a feeling the Elementi gates are somehow connected. The ancient Egyptians and again, I kind of talked, I think about that again last week, but maybe not, or last session. The ancient Egyptians called it the heart becoming light as a feather, to be able to flow into Elementi, for heaven, Elementi, or the Elementi gates, or Amenta, slightly spelled differently, but I think it's the same thing. Anyway, to get out of this karmic wheel cycle, which the moon band organically connected us, okay, to it, and there was things we needed to do to work through it. Okay. Today's moon, okay, but this brings us to today's moon, okay, still holds these records, but until recently and again, we talked about this the last session, recently, and that was, oh Lord, whatever her first name is, Rose, sorry, were held under an artificial satellite mind control machine, and the structure that I'm getting, and I think I've heard other people say this, so maybe that's why I'm thinking about it. You have the ancient organic etheric also kind of formed into solidified as everything got harnessed, Elementes got harnessed. Moon structure holding the record. Then we had that artificial satellite system come in, and I think to a certain extent sort of terraformed onto the earth, onto the moon, and then built its mind control satellite system over the organic rock structure like it did, and however way it did in underground in New Mexico. And someplace, I guess there's a second underground earth one someplace. I haven't tuned into that one yet. Yeah, so we're dealing with that. So we've got that disengaged, and then an more organic structure to take its place until we can shift and deal with being able to get back to our brain plug, plug back in, reconfigure so that we can run the organics, so we know inwardly, right? We don't have to go outside ourselves. We can go inwardly into our template program to know how to have our hearts become as light as a feather, to transition to the next evolutionary cycle. Doesn't mean we have to even go someplace differently, because wherever you are in the mind of Source, there you are. So it's all in your core. So you can, particularly in the pod space, really shift and move to all kinds of places. But and the physical body will transfigure wherever it needs to be and become. This modified moon has been used to harness the Elementi to become lower elementals to do the bidding of the new mankind. This included all upper and lower dominions of this time matrix. They were in some way affected. All the domains have been in some way affected. So really, they as they became more individuated, expanded into that desire. Once the nature spirits all remember once again, once the nature spirits all co-created day and night and other functions were now enchanted during the waxing moon and then trapped within the waning moon. The moon still had angels beings who never birthed onto the earth, that did not fall, but now had to harness their fellow elementals for the earth plane to still be a viable place to live. So all that we used to create as our elemental light, water, man beings, creatures, working with all the around us, the life around us, co-creating together to create the world. When we disengaged from that and became more differentiated, there was not that connection, but yet we still needed all the elements to work together, right, to create the world around us, the reality. So we began the harnessing stage, and that's utilizing the cycles of the moon so that different domains of beings, angels, archangels, archai, dominions, trying to think these new these terminologies, not new terminologies, but these different terms that we're more familiar with, had to, as they became more solidified, still had to do their functions they were designed to do. Okay. These ancient trapped elementi, now elementals, interestingly still move and now still move and flow as they are designed into other life forms. But they still do that, right? That's how they can be enchanted. Our bodies, right, are made up of these elementals, right? So you've got elementals coming in, elementals going out, particularly with their breath, in and out, and we flow with the moon cycles, right, as well, right? We're affected by the moon cycles. Our elementals get all and pulled around during the moon cycles, right? The whole holographic light body program here is based on the elemental life. The flow tends to move with the moon cycles, but is not fixed on these cycles because it can happen anytime, flowing in and out. You can have any elementals or spirits connected to certain elementals getting trapped into your body. Depending upon where a person's overall vibratory tonal signature is located, or where you're at energetically, governs the kind of elementals that flow in and whether they will be released at a person's passing or are taken with them to their next life. Some examples of these emotional D2 elemental beings could be joy, happiness, all the way to fear, anger, resentment, right? Apathy, depression, all of that. So, that again is why it's so important to be mindful of your thoughts, feelings, and actions, right? What is going on in your mind? What thoughts are going through your mind? What are your overall feelings? They're generating Partiki. They're generating those elementals. They're creating elemental beings. And they're drawing in those like them and fleshing back out around you, right? The holographic projection reality. These grouped elementals over time have become, this I thought was kind of fascinating, but it makes sense, have become the ancestral benefits and burdens. They have affected ancestors of place, causing certain areas to have certain karmic energy. Why one neighborhood may be more successful than another. For example, Savannah, Georgia, where I have lived for a while, many people have come here to make changes and tend to get kind of almost kicked out energetically. They're just like hit a wall. And it's the only place, one of the few places I think of as a she as well. She changes at her own time and space. Generational karma as well would be another example. For instance, change seems to flow better in one epoch rather than another. It's governed by these elementi, both trapped and untrapped. The mesas in the southwest, my goodness, for those that are really spirit workers, particularly grid keepers, grid workers, when you go into the mountains, right? Yeah. And how also there seems to be in some of these areas just this kind of lack energy, this doing without energy I've noticed, and I think that's part of that program stuff of what's going on with these trapped burdens, energies. So this brings us kind of to the main topic is of the process of releasing the trapped elementals and of course I got to bring in the cloak of the eternal ones so we get a little bit more knowledge and information about who they are, who and what they are, which I thought was really interesting. And we know the disconnection is huge now between the human and the earth elementals of fire, water, air, crystal, earth. Even what we know of the ancient Bindi is colored, right, by this enchanting or alluring of the elementals, right? Harnessing. The Keylonic code we use to heal the elementals when we got a number of years back. Very powerful, beautiful code, by the way. I'm not saying it's a bad code. I'm just noting this. The name of it is the Allure Rashatan, or Rasha Light Fire Code. Okay, just noting that. Because next we're looking at that I've noticed and learned. So interestingly, smoke can allure or enchant elemental spirits and has been used by many, of course we know, ancient and modern cultures to cleanse away unwanted spirits or even harness the spirits, aka elementals, right? Probably the elementals, usually, I'm not sure how much is the spirit or how much is the elementals attached to the spirits, right? Because even when you pass physically, whatever you held on to, whatever type of vibratory tonal signature you had in life, when you received certain elementals and you lived in kind of a heavy, dark space, those dark, heavy elementals stay attached to you and they get all twisted up, right? And you get all twisted up with them. Hence the burdens, all right? Okay. Mist can do something which is probably, mist does is kind of the same thing I'm feeling, and that's when the cloak of the eternal ones come in, they come in as a cloud, as a vapor mist. And I think that's also probably left over from the Lemurian time of co-creating of that mist and the elementals coming together in a mist and forming things via the mist. Okay. Shoo. The cloak of the eternal ones, aka the great protector, okay, who are Elementi creator spirits at Source's purest form, right? They come straight out of the Kin-servitory. They are connected to, and this for me, my experience, these are connected to an albino, I think it's a query, although I'm embarrassed to say, I got to research this to make sure, but I'm going to say it's a query. I think it's a query. That keeps coming to my mind. A query keeps coming to my mind. Earth tribe from the second seeding, connected to Jeshua 12, aka Christ, lineage. Work in also White Buffalo Woman, and for those that are followers of Yesha, of certain Amsterdam lineage of these people. And again, bring in the Sasquatch, that particular Guardian Alliance team. Again, are very strong working with this, and of course the Alhambra, and I know there's others coming in to be able to create that have come in to create the Wha'Nitah transplanial platform, and again KDDL 3 for details. Again, arraysproductions.com. You really want to check their material out to just get deeper knowledge and information about this stuff. Again, my own separate experience with it, but I don't bring this in. Yesha brings this stuff in, and then it comes in and I connect with it, just like everybody else can do the same. This platform is connected into this Wha'Nitah transplanial platform is connected into what's called the crystal caverns. Okay, so we've connected into it the last few sessions or so, within which the crystal bridgeway, integral bridge, and 7 bridges flows. I see it as a pillar within the crystal caverns, and we connect in, especially newbies, connect into the cloak of the eternal ones, and again it comes in as initially as a white vapor energy, water vapor. Excuse me. Some people may see it as a fountain, a pool, a river. I mean, it depends on your own unique template, but it's water, and it's that Elementi water, okay, of first creation. Okay. They are at your purest form. Okay, your purest form. When they come in, they're coming in connecting directly into your connection into the core domains, right? Because it's everybody creates their reality. Everybody's within their own mind of reality. Everybody comes in the image and likeness of the all that is, or God, right? God Source, first eternal. All right. So They are you and your purest Elementi form, creator form, to free all their trapped Elementi family. This is why they come in a water vapor mist from that enchants, right, your elemental body. They literally cloak each elemental cell, atom, Partiki, transfiguring them back into their organic state. The ones inorganic to you leave back to their home. The ones naturally organic to your light body structure organically realign to your light body structure, or realign the light body structure. Those areas within, okay, as the artificial inorganic ones are cleared out, it's like many times sort of this kind of empty space, right? Many people will talk about that kind of space you don't want to not fill, right? So you bring more of your organic spirit expression to fill your light body structure, right? And this is why during sessions you feel lighter, more loving, at peace, and able to traverse. I've taken groups, small groups at any rate, through some sticky situations as grid keepers. Not my class necessarily, but my or if I do the class, it's by the point towards the end where they've really built up their pod space and Cloak of the Eternal One energies to start kind of playing around and doing stuff. But yeah, you can do a lot when you really get that Cloak of the Eternal One or Great Protector frequencies working. The more you realign these twisted, trapped, reversed elementals, the more clarity you have to see you, right? This energy moves in a wave, remember, wave-like formation, particularly when releasing deep traumas. It's almost, again, like lulling, right? It's almost like when you're a little onesies and you're in your mom's arms and you're scared, right? And something's upset you, or you're just antsy. Your mom holds you and rocks you, right? And you let go. You can then release flow of your feelings of energy, right? This is also why I tend to say, when we're really utilizing the Cloak of the Eternal One energies to clear and realign, moving backwards, forwards, in and out, spiraling, releasing, realigning, recalibrating, okay? Speaking to them elementals, elementi, right? And then we do the pillar recharging cleansing breath. So that, working with that gold and silver Alhambra pillar of peace with the Elassian energies, waves, because it works, it's designed to work particular ways on your light body biological structure. Okay. When the split occurred, okay, of that, the bridge fell and we started becoming more differentiated. To do that, we the D2 elemental and the D3 mental split, okay, creating a conscious and unconscious, right? The traumas tend to get held in the unconscious, right? So when sort of the conscious mind kind of ignores it. I got to function. I got to deal with things in the world. I can't, right? And then it gets pushed back, builds up, of course. And flashes out, right, in the hologram anyway. And we create crap in our life. But at some point, it comes up and we start seeing it on a conscious level. when we do that, and we don't have to get into every detail of it, but just when it kind of comes up and we kind of see some things about it, okay? The water, the white, especially during a session, when it comes up during a session, the white water vapor can then connect and bring it, allure it, enchant it out, those stuck elemental, emotional elemental program traumas out, right? The floating Buddhas, of course, help out in the process as well. Gently but lovingly, shifts are made bit by bit. Trying to force release of traumas really doesn't work very well. It almost makes you want to hold more, okay? Okay. Also, keep in mind, as you are feeling the and this was like, oh crap, okay, yeah, okay, I get this. I'm like, oh man, when I got this one, is that those deep-seated family burdens, traumas, it's just no matter what you do, no matter what you try to fix or heal, it just radiates, and you just really want to keep back in the subconscious and not deal with it. It just hurts too much. Well, most of what you are actually feeling is not yours, right? You are feeling these ancient trapped family elementals. So know that whatever intensity that you might be feeling you can't handle, you can. Because once you release the added burden, you can clearly see the real facts of the event, right? You can then learn from it and let it go, thanking the experience, right? Pains and sorrows soften us. Keeping in mind also, though, pains and sorrows soften us, opening our mental intellect to be compassionate, loving, as the all that is created. This allows the newfound intellect, right, to expand into the organic eternal expression. That's the goal. Out-breath, expansion, individuation, bringing that back into the core of our being as an eternal being expression. As all the eyes, breathing back in to the one mind of the all that is. We'll really get all of those different experiences, right? And we want to keep them as intact as possible, because in the Christic code design, that of sort of a fail-safe, so to speak, in a sense, is when you disconnect from that in-breath, out-breath, there's a point that light structure that you are just eventually, when it loses its energy, quantum, and then just kind of those particles, those elementals, then are breathed back in as a whole, but they're differentiated too much now. There's no the spirit, the I is kind of off, so it's just the building block consciousness back in. So we're wanting the I to stay intact. All these I's, okay, is what this particular interesting cycle is about, or one of the things that it's about. Because we really went down the rabbit holes of experience with this particular epoch. Okay. As you release your traumas that tend to be tied to your burdens, also release them from your, I thought it was very good, biological ancestral lineage, right? There is, in turn, which I thought was kind of interesting, an effect on any ancestors of place that you are connected to. So particularly for those that are indigenous people, lineages, you have in even if you're not living in your geographical location anymore, if you have biological ancestors that died or were buried or burned or whatever, became a part of certain geographical land and are still holding space as ancestors of a place, you're still connected to them. So when you clear your stuff, you're in essence kind of helping them out. And many of them may be able to at some point release and not be stuck in the grids, and may choose they can go on to something else, right? They've been stuck by their burdens, connected into the earth grids, many of them. Many of them choose, but many of them like, okay, I'm stuck here, I'll do good. I'll work my way out, kind of thing. Okay. Life is timeless, right? These different stages of evolution that I talked about in the beginning, the pre and post and all that different changes, have been repeated in different harmonic universes, cycles, all taking place now, right? Nothing is truly lost, but as powerfully eternal beings, we can sure make ourselves think so, right? We've really done a doozy here in this particular time matrix. So yes, this differentiation in its own unique ways of different density harmonic universes all have gone through this in their own time. Okay, so all of them, density 1, density 2, density 3, density 4, 5, whatever, they're all in their own ways right now, in the eternal now, healing, working through it, integrating it in their own density plane or densification plane, right? The SEPAs, okay, my self-empowerment principles of awareness, of being in a state of perpetual appreciation now, and trust in life now, embody the state we must be in to make our way free of elemental burdens through the gateway to the next awakened state of evolution, aka New Earth Now. So, especially with the perpetual appreciation. Now, you take full responsibility of everything in your creations, right? Everything that's going on in your life, and you just have a joy and appreciation, just really getting into it. And the more you can get into that energy, there's a breathing, a renewal, a wavy, flowing energy that goes in with that, especially that trust. Trusting in life really means trusting yourself, allowing flow, movement within the stillness. Okay. Thank you so much for listening, joining in this discussion. I thought it was interesting when I did the session that, and I haven't seen them or connected with them in years, actually, or a little bit here and there, but not this strong. For those that can follow Yashiana Dean, the Hathors, that the Hathors are kind of a distorted version, or kind of technically fallen version of them, or let's just say a extremely harnessed version, individuated version of them. But they're beautiful. They look like white Persian cats, and they usually have like one blue eye and one green eye or something like that, and they're just beautiful, loving beings. And they actually joined in this particular session for you guys and held space for those. I kind of had one on one side of me, and then on the other I had my albino partner. I think he's sort of an Alhambra, this lineage, a query lineage, and also the Sasquatch kind of close holding space with me. And then I kind of felt for each person, because again we're holding that transplanial time-space reality that they're able to do, so that whenever anybody comes for a session, they can hold space for them in their time. And so whoever is appropriate for their individual template will come in and work with them, that's part of their family. So I think that's kind of awesome. I think that's really nice. If anything I accomplished in life, that one's pretty cool. So yes, below is the link for the newbies that have not ever done a session, or even have maybe done once or twice. Really probably need to do this full session introductory part of it again, unless they really feel they can connect in. For sure, doing the song beforehand, and then Ah-yah A'ya God Source 3 times to bring in your clan family. I mean your Buddha team, which connects directly into your manifestation template, which I think is interesting, fascinating as all get out. And so that brings it all in, and bring it in and get the pillar running and all that. For those that have been doing it for a little while, can just go right in. But for the newbies, again, it's not worth your time to do the rest until you get into your pod space and start running that and making those connections. It's just not, you're not going to get it. I mean, it's not going to harm you, but it's not going to do anything for you either. Okay, it's going to be a waste of your time. So, and also, if you haven't yet, sign up, subscribe to become on my email list. Make sure we can keep in touch. And also, as a reminder, we're at the end of my current HDR Grid Keepers seminar class. Started in March. It's going to be ended in the end of August, and I will be close to the end of August, and I will be starting my new class in September 11th for 6 months, meeting twice a month, or every 2 weeks. And so on August 7th, Saturday, August 7th at 12 p.m., I guess it's EDT at that time, Daylight Savings Time, kind of New York time, so I think it's 9 a.m. Pacific time, and I think depending upon where you're at, but I think if you're in England area, it's 5 p.m. and then, well, you work your way from wherever you're at from there. I think the Netherlands, it's 6 o'clock, something like that, so is the time, and it's via Skype, and I've got the link below. Just click on that link and you can make sure I know you're coming and that the link works. And so far it's been good, no problem, but I'm by myself doing this, so I can't, once the class starts, I can't try to deal with side stuff. I can't do it. I have to talk. So I can't. It's so awful with the times when people are, I'm trying to connect in, I'm sorry. So if you click on the link and get yourself in, you'd like to join, ask me questions, gain more information. Also, of course, I have the link for the class. Look that over. I've got all kinds of videos I've done. Y'all can, pretty soon you're getting to the point where you kind of know, is this something that I want to be a part of? I want to, so the Q&A is kind of a good question to sort of ask some of those questions and get a better feel, and kind of go from there. So, I guess that's it, and I actually ended before the hour. I thought I was going to go over the hour. Honestly, I did, but I tried to stick a little bit closer to my notes, so I didn't go too off in the weeds. Thank you again. I appreciate you guys. I love you, and I think this time I don't have the stuff I had in the background messing things up. So anyway, take care. Love y'all. and hopefully see you Saturday, August 7th.